Hey there, it's Rory. In today's video, we're going to show you how to figure out why a Whirlpool built range is throwing an F8E0 code or another F8 code. While we're troubleshooting, we're going to check out the blower motor, which is usually the culprit behind this problem. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel to see many more easy appliance repair guides. With over 2 million products in stock and the know-how to help you do it yourself, we are AppliancePartsPros.com. Let's start by getting our tools together. We'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, a multimeter, and cut-proof gloves to get the job done. Also, please remember that safety comes first. Don't forget to unplug the range or turn the breaker off before attempting to access or replace any parts. Open the oven door all the way, flip up the hinge latch on each hinge and pull forward to release them. Close the oven door as far as it will go and lift it while holding each side. Then set the oven door aside and grab the Phillips head screwdriver. Under the console, you'll find screws that hold it in place. On some models, there will be 5 screws, and on others like ours, there will be 3. We need to remove these screws and set them aside. Once that panel is out of the way, guess what? That's right, more screws. There will be 2 more screws, one at each corner, that need to be removed. After all the screws are out, we should be able to lift the console out of the way and flip it up onto the cooktop. Now we'll run a diagnostic test. Let's plug the unit back in, clear any codes that have appeared, and then press Cancel, Cancel, Start on the console. If done right, we should be in diagnostics mode and your display should look like this. You'll need to use the 3 or 6 buttons to navigate to the test menu and press Start. This has us in a manual load activation test, so we can activate individual components. Now press Timer and the display should have a capital C on it. The cooling fan should be running right now. If it's not running, then unplug the unit and find the blue P5 and red P6 connectors on the control board we exposed by removing the console. You'll need to disconnect these from the control board. Then set the multimeter to read resistance in ohms and place one lead to the purple wire on the P5 connector and the other to the white wire on the P6 connector. If the fan is good, then we should get a reading of about 105 ohms. If it's open or out of range, then the fan will need to be replaced. If the fan is in range but didn't run, then that means the main control board isn't sending out voltage and will need to be replaced. Now, there will be some cases where the cooling fan runs in diagnostics mode, but the F8 error is still coming up when we're trying to use the oven. When this happens, I recommend replacing the cooling fan first, since there's a sensor built into the fan that reads the fan's movements that goes bad, and it can't be easily or accurately tested. If the error code is still coming up after replacing the fan, then the main control is bad. We've already got our front console off, so that helps us get to the cooling fan. First, remove the 3 screws going into the rear vent trim and take it off.
Once that is done, remove the 2 screws underneath the top glass.
Now we should be able to lift up the glass cooktop and remove it. You'll want to set the cooktop somewhere safe, preferably on a towel or blanket. Remove the 6 screws holding the element pan to the body of the unit. Then lift the element pan and move it out of the way. But watch out, there are some sharp edges here, so make sure to wear some cut-proof gloves to prevent any injuries. From here we should have access to the blower fan and the main control board. We need to remove the screw holding the cooling fan to the console bracket and move the cooling fan to a position where we can disconnect the harnesses from it, and take the fan the rest of the way out. Here's the old cooling fan and here's the new one. If you've already got one, great. If not, you can pick one up at AppliancePartsPros.com. We need to connect the harnesses to the fan and hold it in place to get the screw started. Then tighten that screw up. Now, just a little tip. Before putting everything back together, if you had an issue with the fan not running at all, I'd suggest that you go ahead and test the fan in diagnostics mode as I showed you earlier in the video. Swing the element pan back into position and reinstall the 6 screws. After that, we can slide the cooktop back in place, put the rear vent trim back on, and then reinstall those 3 screws. Then we'll flip the console back in place and add the 2 screws at each corner. Set the console back in place and put the screws in it at either corner. Then snap the front trim back in place and install the 3 screws for it. After that, we can insert the door hanger arms and make sure the notches are engaging the frame. Finally, open the oven door all the way and lock the hinge levers back in place. Don't forget to plug your range back in or flip the breaker back on. If you found out that the blower motor is causing your Whirlpool range's cooling fan issues, jot down your model number and visit AppliancePartsPros.com to order the replacement part. Most orders arrive within just 1 to 2 days, so you can get your range back to its normal self in no time. Once your part arrives, Follow along with our easy guides to finish the repair. We'd love to hear how the process went, so feel free to share your experience in the comments below. And remember, we're here to help. See you next time.